In this video series, we will add new feature in this project. Before continuing this video, I will suggest first watch these videos. In these videos, I have created Angular project, .NET Core project. In a .NET Core project, I have created API, configure Entity Framework Core. For user management and role-based authorization, I have added Microsoft Identity. We are using token-based authentication, and then we integrated these things in a Angular project. So I will suggest first watch these videos. We will add article feature, or you can say block feature in our app, where user can add article, update articles, and delete articles. And we will also create a view for reader where reader can read publish articles. First we will create API, then we will integrate this API in Angular project. We will store this article in a database. So we have to create a table in a database. We are using entity framework and we are using code first approach. First we will create entity class. In entities folder, I will add entity class name with CS extension, article.cs, namespace, public class, article. In this class, I will add article property, title, content or body, and third, publish status. This will hold the status of article, whether it is published or not. Some property, for example, ID, created date, modified date, this type of property will be common in all entity class. So I will create a base class. In this class, I will add these properties and other entity class will extend this base class. So I have created base entity class. This class has three property. If you don't like this approach, you can go without this approach. Then you have to add these properties in every entity class. Article class will inherit from base entity class. So article class will have all the property of base entity class. One user can have one or many articles. So now we will implement one-to-many relationship in Entity Framework Core. One article will be associated to one user. In article class, I will create two property, one app user ID and second property app user, and its type will be app user. App user ID property is a type of string because in app user we have a string type ID. I will change the namespace and I will remove the claim from the namespace data.entities. This is our new namespace. One app user can have one or many articles. In app user, I will create a property and its type will be list. Brief description about these relationship properties. In app user, article collection is called collection navigation property. With this property, we can get all the article of a user. In article, app user ID is a foreign key and app user property is an inverse navigation property. With this property, we can get user information in an article object. We have changed the namespace, so we have to update the namespace reference. In DB context class, we will add DB set property. We will use this property for query. To update database schema, we will add migration. To add migration, we have to run this command .NET. .NET is .NET Core CLI keyword and EF for Entity Framework Core. Migration space add. So we are adding the migration and we have to give name of migration. MG1 is a name of migration. So this command first build the solution. On successful build, it will create migration script. In a migrations folder, you will see the migration script MG1. In a migration script, you can see the detail about database schema. So it will create a article table and also create a one-to-many relationship. Now we will apply this migration. .NET EF database update command. This command will update the database schema using this script. This command has applied the migration. In a management studio, I have to refresh the tables to see the new tables. So here you can see we have article table. You can see the article table columns. Now we will create controller for article. File name will be article controller. From user controller class, I will copy some code and will remove the unnecessary code. Controller class name will be article controller. I have removed all the code from user controller class. So this is article controller class with constructor. Now I will add two methods. One, add update article. So I will copy the code from user controller class. Change the method name, add update article. I will copy this name and will paste in a route name and will remove unnecessary code. I have to add import statement. If anything new to you, please watch my previous videos. I will add update binding model for article. I will use existing binding model and we will add property in this binding model in the next video. And we will add here. Now I will add delete article method. So I will create a copy of this add update article and change the route name and method name. Now we will run this project. And if you see this error, click on advanced and click on proceed to localhost. This warning only appears on Chrome browser. Now we have article section in Swagger. We added two methods in article controller and you can see here. Now we will add authorization on this method and this method can be accessed by admin and user. I will add this attribute on delete article method and add update article method. In this video, we will create service and we will inject this service in a controller. So basic definition of a service is an object that provides service to other objects. This service will be a communication layer between controller and entity framework. But first, we will understand dependency injection in ASP.NET Core. In ASP.NET Core, it's very easy to create service even if you don't know dependency injection design pattern. ASP.NET Core supports the dependency injection software design pattern, which is a technique for achieving the inversion of control between classes and their dependencies. Now we will see what is a dependency. A dependency is an object that another object depends on. Let's understand with an example. You have one class, myDependency, and in this class you have one method, writeMessage. In example control class, you want to invoke method of myDependency class. So you have to create object of myDependency class. So example controller class creates and directly depend on myDependency class. These type of code dependencies are problematic and should be avoided for the following reason. To replace my dependency class with a different implementation, the example controller class must be modified. If my dependency class has dependencies, they must also be configured by example controller class. In a large project with a multiple classes depending on my dependency, the configuration code becomes scattered across the app. This implementation is difficult to unit test. The app should use a mock or stub my dependency class, which is not possible with this approach. Dependency injection addresses this problem through the use of an interface or base class to abstract the dependency implementation. Registration of the dependency in a service container. ASP.NET Core provides a built-in service container, iService provider. Services are typically registered in a app startup.configure service method. Injection of the service into the constructor of the class where it's used. The framework takes on the responsibility of creating an instance of the dependency and disposing of it when it's no longer needed. Now we will apply dependency injection on my dependency class. We will create interface iMyDependency that will have method signature. We will create a class that will implement that interface and will give implementation of interface methods. We will register this class and its interface in a startup file in a config service method. To register service, we will use extension method. There is a multiple way to register service. Service.addScope in angle bracket interface name and class name. We will inject this service in a controller. We will declare object private read-only iMyDependency. This is the type of this object and object name. We will use constructor injection. We will add dependency in a constructor and ASP.NET Core will inject this dependency whenever it create class. In a control class, you can see object type is interface. By using the DI pattern, the controller class does not use a concrete type myDependency class, only the iMyDependency interface it implements. That makes it easy to change the implementation that the controller uses without modifying the controller. Does not create an instance of myDependency class, it's created by DI container. By using this DI pattern, we will create three methods: add update article, delete article, get all article. And we will inject this service in a controller. Create a folder for interface. In this folder, we will add interface for service. Folder name iService. In this folder, we will add one interface for article, iArticle.cs. Namespace will be iService. Public interface name. Now we will declare method. In an interface, we cannot use access modifier. This method return type will be task. In a task, we will return article. This is our entity class. Import the task and article. So this method will accept ID. We will use ID to update the article, title, content, and author ID, and publish status. Second method, delete article, return type task, and it will return boolean, and it will accept ID. Method name should be add update article. In an interface, we cannot add access modifier, so I will remove public access modifier. Now we will add third method, return type task. In a task, we will return list. List type will be a DTO class. I will create a DTO class for article. Method name get all article. Import collection namespace for list. Now we will create DTO class for article. Article DTO.cs. Namespace DTO. We will add property in this class later. And list type will be article DTO class. And we have to import DTO class namespace. Now we will create service. In a service folder, article service.js namespace will be service, public class article service. This service will implement iArticle service interface. We follow the naming convention for service and service interface. We add service word in a file name and in a class name. Interface name will become iArticle service. We use this naming convention for service. Import the interface. Click again on a yellow bulb and click on implement interface. It will create empty method. We will add functionality in this method later. Now we will register this service in a startup file in a configure service method. We can register service with three different lifetimes. There are three service lifetime in ASP.NET Core dependency injection. Transient services are created every time they are injected or requested. Scoped services are created per scope. In a web application, every web request creates a new separated service scope. That means scoped services are generally created per web request. Singleton services are created per DI container. They are created only one time per application and then used for the whole the application lifetime. Services.add scope. This is the lifetime of service. In angle bracket, interface name and its implemented class name. We know interface name is iArticle service and class name is article service. We have registered the service. Now we will inject this service In a article controller, we will declare an object and we will initialize from constructor. Object type is iArticleService. We use read only, it will prevent accidentally assigning a new value. First we will create constructor for this service. Now we will create DB context class instance using dependency injection. In this application, database context class name is app dbcontext. I will copy this name and paste here. Object name underscore context, import namespace. When we do refactoring, we will apply inversion of control on app dbcontext class. Now we will implement add update article method. You can create two methods for this, one method for add and second method for update. We will use ID for update functionality. First we will get element from database against this ID. Context.article. Article is entity class. We will use first or default method. Import link. In a first or default, we have to pass condition. Here X is object of article array. We will compare ID. It will return article object if any element fulfill this condition. Otherwise, it will return null. Now we will add null check. If this object is null, we will assume user is trying to add a new article. In if condition body, we will implement add article logic. We will create a new object of article entity class and we will initialize this object with given information. App user ID, we will assign author ID. App user ID and author ID is the same thing. If author ID is not present in database, then database will not allow to enter this record. Created it and modified it. We will use UTC time. If you are user from different time zone, then use UTC time. Last property, which is published property. We have initialized this object. Now we will save in database. Context.articles.addAsync and we will pass created article object. Object name is temp article. Context.saveAsync. These two methods are async, so we have to add await. Here add update article calling async method and it has await keyword, so add update article should be async method. We have to add async keyword here. An important thing, we have to add return statement and we will return object. You can return anything, it's depend on your requirement. If we don't add return statement here, it will go to update part. Now we will implement update case. When temp article object is not null, then if condition will false. In temp article object, we will have a record information. We will update these information. We will update title and body, publish status, and will add modify date. Context.update, and we have to pass temp article object, and we have to call save async method, await context.saveAsync, and we will return the article object. This method has two parts, add case and update case. First, we check record exists against this ID in a database. When record don't exist, then this add case will run and return from here. When record exists, then second case, update case will run. Now we will implement delete method. To delete record, first we have to search the record in database. Paste this line of code here. We will add check if this object is null, record is not present in database, and we will return true. We have to return true in a task.from result. In a from result, we will pass boolean value which is true. If record is present in database, then temp article will not null. Then we will remove record from database. Context.articles.remove, and in a remove we will pass this temp article object. To apply these changes, we have to call context.savechanges async. This is async method, so we have to add await keyword, and delete article should also be a async method. Add async keyword here and add await keyword here because this is also async method. Return statement task.from result, and we will pass true value. So we have implemented delete method. Now we will implement get all article method. Make this method async. Return await. We will write link query that will return async list from article in context.articles, and we will add where condition because we will return article against author ID. Article.appUserID we will compare with author ID. These two property are same. We will get author ID from parameter. Add author ID in a function definition. Select. In select we will use article detail class. In article detail class we didn't define the properties. Now we will define the properties. I will copy this property from article entity class and paste in a detail class. Now I will initialize article detail class from article object. We use detail class because we don't want to send entity class directly to user. I will add two more properties in article detail class. Full name, which is author name, and credited. Here I will initialize these properties. Created, I will assign article.created. Author name, article.appuser.fullname. Here I will call toList async. We have to import link namespace. We have one error because we modified the one interface method, this method. So we have to update the interface. Here, this error will fix. You can see. Now we will use this service in a controller. In a previous video, we injected this service in a controller. In a previous video, we also created this binding model, and we will add property in this model. I will copy this property from this class. Here I will paste in a binding model class. Remove this created date and a full name. Here I will add one property which is ID. Before enter record in a database, first we will validate this model. If required property is not present in a model class, then we will return error message. Now I will add check on title property. You can add check on multiple property. Model.title.length, and if length is less than 1, then we can assume title is not present in a model class. And we will return this response. Response code is error and response message will be parameters are missing. If title is present in a model class, then we will save this object in database service.addUpdate article. One by one, we will pass argument to this method. We have to add here await keyword. because it is a async method. If we don't add await, then it will throw exception. There is a type on result object name. I will pass this object in a response. Now we will implement delete article method. To delete article, we need ID. So this method will have one parameter, which is ID, int ID. Here we will validate this ID. If ID is less than 1, then we can assume ID is not present in a request, and we will return response parameter are missing. If ID is greater than 1, and we will call service method delete article, and we will pass ID. Delete article method return a boolean value, and we will return in a response. In add update article, this is a success case, and response code will be response code.ok. In a response model, we also return response message, new record added or record has been updated. When we have ID greater than 0, then we will assume this is the update case. So we will return record updated, and else condition new record added. In delete article method, we will update response model response code.ok, and response message will be record has deleted. We have implemented two methods in controller. Now we will add third method, which is get article by author ID. I will create a copy of this method. Change the name of this method, get article list, and we will get author ID from query from URL. This will become author ID. Update the route name, and I will remove this authorization, and this will be an anonymous method. User can access this method without authentication authorization. This will be a get method. Validate this author ID. It should not null. Author ID dot length less than 3 character. Then we will return parameter are missing. If author ID is valid, we will call service method get all article, and we will pass author ID. And we will pass the result in a response model. We have implemented three methods. Now we will test these methods, and I will add breakpoint so we can see the request parameters. I will add breakpoint in all these three methods. Start this application with debug mode. I'm on a Swagger page. You can see my video how to add Swagger with token-based authentication. We don't have a token. First we will obtain token. We will use login API to get token. Click on a try it out and pass username and password. Click on execute, and it will return user information and token. Here you can see. But we also need a user ID because we want to save article. From user ID, we will know who is the author of this article. We will modify login API call and we will return user ID from login API method. Stop the application and go to user controller. In a login API method, and we will modify user detail class, and here I will add one more property which is user ID and its type is string, and we will add entry in a constructor. In a user controller, here we have to pass user ID app user.id. We return user information from multiple methods, so we have to update every method. Start the application and we will test again. Click on execute button, and now you can see user ID. Now we have a user ID. I will copy this token and paste in a authorization. Click on authorize button and paste in this box. First we will test add article. Click on try it out. We will add title, body and user ID. And copy user ID from this API call and click on execute, and it will stop on breakpoint. Here hover a mouse on model, you can see all information. Press F10 and now press F11 to go into this method, and first it will search ID 0 and you can see temp article is null. Initialize this object with this information and you can see ID 0. When we save in a database, then we will have ID, and this ID is from database, and function is completed and will return from here. And here we will return object and we will return message. Click on a continue breakpoint. This is request response. You can see response message, new record added. In Management Studio, run this command again and you will see this data, one record. Now we will test get all article, and here I will paste author ID. Click on execute. It stop on breakpoint. You can see ID. ID is not less than 3. Press F10 and now press F11. So we got exception. You can see this exception in our response. The reason behind this exception is we forgot to add await keyword. Here we have to add await keyword. Save the changes and restart this application. Click on execute button to resend the request. Click on a continue breakpoint. So this is a response of this request and we got one record. And now we will add one more record. We will use this information. Click on execute and here click on continue breakpoint. In a browser you can see new record added. Now we will test again get article list. Now we have two records. You can see in a response. Now we will test update functionality and we will update second record and I will add ID. It has ID 2 and I will add update word in our title and click on execute and it will stop on a breakpoint. Press F11 and first it will search record in database against this ID. This time temp article is not null. It has record information. Add case will not run and update case will run and we will update title body and publish status and we forward to add modify date. You can see response. In a response message you can see record updated. So update case is working fine. Get all article again and you will see updated record. We added this word. Now we will test delete article API. In delete article we have to send article ID. We will send article ID to. Click on execute. It will stop on a breakpoint. Somehow it's not showing the breakpoint. We got exception and this is the same exception we received earlier and we didn't add await keyword. Here I forgot to add await keyword. Save and restart this application. We will test again delete article API. Click on execute button and you can see the response record deleted. Get all record and it stopped on a breakpoint. So in a response we have one record because we have deleted one record. This is Angular project. I will start this project. npm run start. This command will start the Angular project and I will start API project. Angular project is running on localhost 4200. Log in with any ID. In previous videos, we implemented user with role type user can see user list. Now we will remove this functionality. We will implement user with role type user can manage the article. In app component, we have horizontal menu bar. I will remove this navbar title and I will add my channel name. And replace user with article. Save the changes. You can see articles horizontal menu. Now I will add article components. I will create folder for article module. Add a folder in the app folder. Folder name will be article module. Open this folder in a terminal. Right click. Open in an integrate terminal. I will add two components. ng, G for generate and C for component. Article management. In this component, we will show the list of all article, and second component, add update article. From this component, user can add update article. Now we will add entry in routes. Copy this line, path name, article management. Copy this path and replace component with article management component. Don't forget to add comma here. Go to app component, paste that line here, article management, save the changes. Click on article and you will see article page. Now we will add model class. I created C# class and it should be TypeScript class article.ts. That's why Visual Studio Code was not giving IntelliSense. I will make constructor parameter optional so we can create class without these parameters. Now I will add service for article. Open service folder in a terminal. Ng. I will delete spec.ts file. Right now we are not writing any test case. User service and article service will share this base URL. I will move this base URL in a constant file. It should be static so we can access this property without creating object of constant class. I will remove user from base URL because this word is not common in all service. We follow this naming convention for constant property. In a user service, I will update base URL constant.base URL. Copy constant.base URL. I will update all the reference of base URL. Here I will add controller name, which is user. API URL has a different part, which is base URL slash controller name slash method name. In a user service, user is a controller name. Now we will add method in article service. In article service, inject HTTP client service. From user service, copy get all user method and we will edit this method. First, we will change the method name. Method name will be get article by author ID. This method will take one parameter, which is author ID, import the HTTP headers, and import response model. And here array type will be article. Import article from model. Import response code. Replace user with article. Now we will update API URL. I will copy route name from API project, this one, and paste here. Now we will copy controller name. Article is a controller name and paste here. API URL of this method base URL /article/get article list. When we send API request on this URL, it will return article list, and we know in article list we will have article DTO object. I will initialize article object. In response, we get JSON object. When .NET Core return response, it will convert article DTO object into JSON object. I will change the name of this property created to created date, and I will add one more property which is modify date. These properties don't exist in article class. Article class has these properties, but their names start with lowercase. In Angular project, we follow camel case naming convention. In article constructor, we have to pass ID, article ID, x.id. In article detail class, we will add new property, which is ID. To create a property, type prop and press tab button. I will copy modify date, paste here. We have one more error. We have to import map operator. We will rename this property user list to article list. We have completed article service. Now we will add few things in API project. In article service, in article detail class, we changed the name created to created date. We added one property which is ID. We will initialize that property ID, and we will assign article.id and comma. In last video, I forgot to add modify date in update case. Modify date will keep the record when data was modified. Now we will test this thing. Start this application in a debug mode. Authorization is not required for this call because this call is public. Now we will work on article management page. So in article management page, we will show the list of all article. I will copy this UI from all user management and paste here, and also copy code from TS file. Paste here. One by one import these component and model classes and replace user with article. Import the article class. Replace user service with article service and change the user service name. Rename this. In article service, we have one method which is get article by author ID. So we have to pass author ID. In previous video, we implemented following thing. Whenever user login, we will return user ID. And in Angular application, we store this user information in a local storage. So now we can get user information from local storage. I will copy this property. This property return user information from local storage. Import constant class. And this dot user. In user class, we don't have ID property. We have to add ID property in a user class. In a subscribe call, replace user with article array because we are returning article array in observable from get article by author ID method. In user model class, I will add one property which is ID and its type is string. format this code. And now we have to update user service here x.id, and we will get this ID from API project, and we implemented this thing in previous video. We have multiple reference of user class in our user service. Here we have to pass ID. We are back in article management component. This .user.id. Now we have ID property. In API project, in user detail class, we are returning user ID, not ID. So I will rename this property. To rename property or method name, press Ctrl R 2 times. This command will update all the reference of property and method name. You can see that command updated the reference. To show article list, we will use table, and we copied this table from user management page, and I will replace full name with title, article body, status, created date. I will create copy of this line, and it will be modified date, and I will change the name of this user to article. I will replace user with article, article.title, and article.body, article.status, and a status we will show published and unpublished status. Create a copy of this line, and in this line we will show created date and modified date. I will copy property names from model class. Now we will test this component. Click on article. In ngOnIt method, it will send request to server. When user refresh the page, ngOnIt method will run. Inspect element, go to network tab, and we will see the request status. From network tab, you can inspect the request and its response. Click on article again. In network tab, search article request, and you can see dataset is null. So in a request response, we got exception and no error on the console. To investigate this issue, so I will add a breakpoint in a API project. Go to article controller. We will debug get article list method. I will add breakpoint in this method. I added 2 breakpoint in this method. Click on a refresh and go to breakpoint. So author ID is null. That's why we got that exception. No issue in API project. We will see Angular project, and here you can see I didn't pass author ID. We will pass author ID in a URL. Query parameters start with question mark. First key, in this case key is author ID, assignment operator, and value. I will concatenate author ID as a value. Save the changes. It will reload the page, and article component will send request to server. And now you can see we have author ID. Click on a continue. Again click on a continue, and you can see we got 2 records. Click on continue breakpoint, and I will remove these breakpoints. Go to browser, and here you can see it's showing the entry of 2 records but not showing the data. From network tab, we will inspect the request. Scroll down and search get article list request, and you can see the response. In dataset object, we have article array, 2 article object in article array. Request and response working fine. Now we will inspect Angular project. Go to source tab and click on webpack and click on dot folder. In dot folder, you will see your project src folder. This is your project source code in browser, and you can debug easily, and you can add breakpoint. I will add breakpoint here in a article service. Refresh page, and it will stop on a breakpoint. Dataset has array. Press F10, and I will add one more breakpoint here. Click on continue breakpoint, and it will stop on a breakpoint. ID is undefined, and you can see ID with a lowercase has data, and we use ID with capital I. This is the reason we got empty records. Remove the breakpoints. Another way and easiest way to stop on a breakpoint, write debugger and browser will stop on that line. I will change the case of properties. Save the changes, and you can see it stopped on a debugger. I will add breakpoint in a map method and click on continue. Now ID and title has information. Close the developer tool and you will see data in our table. Now we will add edit and delete button. I will create a one column and its name will be action. In table body, I will add TD element. In a TD element, I will add two button tag and add type, and type will be button. In button, I will add two button classes. First, btn, it will add style on a button. Btn dash primary, it will add primary color on it. Button title is added. Now I will add second button tag, type button, and button classes btn and btn primary. Now I will add button title, which is delete. Save the changes and go to browser. You can see two buttons on UI, edit and delete. Bootstrap has a different styles for buttons, and one of them is button group. Let's try. I will create a div that will have a class button group. I will move this button in this div. Save the changes. Looking much better. Now I will change the color class and we will try button secondary. This class will change the color. Now I will add new article button. First I will add row. In a row I will add column. We use column and row in our Bootstrap because it has lots of benefits. We can easily change the position and can apply Bootstrap classes, button tag and button type, button classes, btn and btn primary, and button title. Add new article. Save the changes. This button is not page layout. I will move this button in a page layout. Copy this row and paste here. Save the changes and go to browser. Now button in a layout, and now I will move this button to right side, float end. Save the changes and it's looking better. I will add margin top 3 in a page layout. Save the changes. You can see margin from top. Now we will add click event on these buttons. First I format this code. And here on a delete button I will add click event. In a click I have to give a function name. Function name is on delete. I will create this function in a TS file. Paste here function name on delete. I will add two more functions on edit and on add new. On edit will take one parameter ID, and its type is number. Third method on add new. I will rename this method. It should be getAllArticle. I will copy this name, this method name. I prefer copying, it saves typo error. Add click event and paste method name. On edit, add click event. Method name on edit, and it will take one parameter, which is ID. I will pass article.id. In this method, I will add console.log so we can check click event is working fine. This method will log on delete console.log. It will log on edit and ID. Console.log in add new method. It will log on add new. Save the changes and we will test. Open developer tool. Click on a console tab and click on edit. You can see edit and ID. And delete, you can see delete log. On add new, it's showing add new log. So click events are working fine. Now we will implement delete functionality. So we have to show confirm window. To show confirm window or pop-up, we will use ngx bootstrap. Click on first one, ngx bootstrap, and click on get started. Copy this command. Open terminal. Stop the application. Click on delete or kill button. It will stop the application. And paste that command. Press enter. This command will install ngx bootstrap. This library provides bootstrap component, so you don't need to include original JS components. Installation has completed. From this library, we will use model. Because we like to show confirm pop-up, we have installed ngx bootstrap. We want to use model, so we have to import model module. Copy model module.forRoot. Paste in an import array of app module. Sometimes Visual Studio Code don't give IntelliSense, so I will copy import line. Copy this line and paste here. This error will go on. Now I will start the application. Now I will create a component for model. I will create a new folder. In this folder, I will add components for model. This folder will be in an app folder. Select app folder and click on this icon. Folder name model-components. Open this folder in a terminal. Write create folder command. ng, G for generate and C for component and component name. Confirm model. Press enter. Component has created. Save the changes. VS Code is giving this error. Failed to save app module. This happened due to when I run ngx bootstrap, I didn't save the file and I executed second command. That created issue. You can compare this file and see the conflict, but I click on overwrite. I will add confirm model in an entry component. If you are using older version of Angular, then you have to add this type of component in an entry component. If you are using Angular 11, 10 or any version and IV engine is enabled, then you don't need to add confirm model in an entry component. In ngx bootstrap, there is a multiple way to create model, but I will use component approach. This approach is very simple and easy to manage. Now we are going to create confirm model. Scroll down, you will see one example. Here, click on it, it will show a pop-up. I will copy HTML from this example and will paste in a confirm model. Here, I will create this as a generic model so we can pass any information from parent component. We can pass any message. For example, do you want to delete? Do you want to leave this page? We can use this model for multiple purpose. Create a confirm function in a component. Now I will copy decline method name, this one, paste here and create a function. Any component that want to show this confirm model, it has to pass three information message: confirm button title, decline button title. I will create this property in a TS file, property name message and type string. I will create a two copy of this line, confirm title and decline title, and import input decorator. This component is completed, but one thing is remaining. Now we will show this component from article management page. To show confirm model, we have to inject ngx bootstrap model service. Search component example. This one, copy BS model service. We want to show confirm model in article management page. So I will paste this service in article management page. Here, and import this service, BS model service. This dot model service dot show take two argument. First, component name. Second, initial state. In initial state, we can pass information. In our case, we will pass three properties: message, confirm title, and decline title. Copy this code in article management page in a delete function. Paste here in a delete function. Import this type model option, and I will remove this thing. We will not pass any list. You can see this .bs model ref. I will make this a local variable. We don't need a class level variable. And here I will pass confirm model component. In initial state, we will pass three property: message. This is a string. Do you want to delete? Confirm button title. Yes. And decline button title. No. Save the changes. Now we will test. So you can see on delete, it's showing this model. Do you want to delete? Yes or no? Last thing remaining, which is whenever user click on a yes button, we will send delete API request. And whenever user click on no button, we will do nothing and hide the model. Now these buttons are not working. Now we will implement whenever user click on a yes button, we will send delete API request from article management page. We can achieve this thing by two methods. One is a callback function and second is RxJS. So we will use RxJS. I will create a one variable model response and type is subject. In a subject, we will pass boolean value. Import subject from RxJS. I will initialize in a ngOnIt method. To hide model, we have to inject model ref service. I will copy this, paste in a constructor, and import this model ref service. On a confirm, first we will hide the model. This dot model ref dot hide, it will hide the model. Next, we will send true value in a subject. This dot model respond dot next. I will send true from confirm method. Copy these two lines and paste in a decline. From decline, I will send false. We are using this model in article management page. We will subscribe this subject in article management page. Here you can see our local variable bs model ref. Bs model ref dot content. In content, you can see we have all properties and method of model. Model response is a subject and we will subscribe. In subscribe, we will get a boolean value. In subscribe, I will add if condition. In if condition, I will add result. In if condition, I will add console.log to check this functionality working or not. Now we will test this thing. Open browser, open developer tool, click on delete, click on the console tab. When I click on no, nothing will happen. Model will hide. When I click on a yes, it will log the information. You can see. Confirm model has completed. Now we will send delete API request when user click on yes button. In previous video, we created this API delete article. To invoke this API, we have to send article ID in a request body. I will move this ID in a binding model. I follow following convention. I use binding model with from body attribute. Stop the application and go to binding model folder. Right click on it and click on new file. Delete article binding model .cs. I will copy this code from this binding model and paste in our delete article binding model. I will update the class name delete article binding model. In delete article binding model, I will add one property ID and its type is int. Delete article binding model is ready. Copy the name and go to article controller and paste here. I will rename this property new name model. I will fix this error model.id. Start the API project. In Angular project, in article service, here we will create a function that will send delete article API request, delete article, and it will take one parameter article ID and its type number. From this method, we will send post request. Go to user service. From this method, we are sending post request. Copy this code, paste here. Remove this property from body object. In a body object, add one property name ID, initialize ID with article ID. In this request, we have to send token. We send token in header. Copy this code and paste header code here. We will pass this header as argument in a post method, user service, and copy this code. In a post method, after the body, we can pass options. In option, we can pass header. Now I will update API request URL, base URL slash controller name, which is article, and slash method name. I will copy method name from here and paste here. Format this code. Now we will use this method in a article management page. Remove this console.log. In this if condition, we will send delete API request. This dot article service dot delete article and it will take one parameter article ID. I will add this parameter in on delete method and its type will be number. We will pass article ID from HTML file here. Copy this article.id and pass in on delete method. Subscribe this delete method. In a subscribe, we will get response model. We will add condition on response model. If response dot response code and we will compare with response code dot OK. In this condition, we will show success message and else we will show something went wrong message. Before send request, we will show loader or spinner. This dot block UI dot start method will start showing the spinner. When we get response, we will stop this spinner. In this video, you can watch how I implemented loader or spinner. When we get response, I will stop this spinner. This dot block UI dot stop. And when we get error from this API request, we will stop this block UI. In a subscribe method, we will get two callback method. First success method and second error method. In error callback, this dot block UI dot stop. Now we will add notification or toaster. I will inject toaster service. In this video, you can see how I implemented NGX toaster. Copy this toaster service and paste in a constructor. Here, import this service. When we get response code OK, we will show toaster. This dot toaster service dot success. It will show a success message. We will show article deleted successfully. When response code is not OK, we will show error message. This dot toaster dot error. In error, we will pass message something went wrong. Please try again later. Copy this line and I will show this message when we get error. Paste in a error callback. Save the changes and we will test. This is a spinner, loader or block UI. Click on a delete button and click on a yes. It will stop on a breakpoint. Here, ID is 3. Click on a continue. You can see a success message. This is a toaster. Record has deleted from database, but we have to refresh this table. When we get response code OK, here we will call getArticleList method. This dot get all article. So when we delete the record, we will fetch again record from database through API. You can see when page refresh, deleted record disappear. Now we will delete this record. Click on yes and it will stop on a breakpoint. I will remove this breakpoint and click on continue. You can see deleted record has disappeared. I will show add update article in a model. So I will move this component in a model component folder. Paste in a model components folder. When we move files, VS Code update the import statement path. We can verify this thing from app module. You can see on line number 17, add update article is imported from model components. Sometimes VS Code don't update the import statement path. Then you have to manually update this path. NGX Bootstrap provide layout for model. Model layout has 3 sections, header, body and footer. We will use this layout. I will copy layout from component example. This is model layout. You can see 3 different sections, header, body and footer. Copy this code. This layout is not compulsory for model. You can create your own layout, but you have to manage it by yourself. Paste that code here. Now we will modify this code. We don't need list, so I will remove this list. In this div, we will add one text box for title and editor for article body. First, we will copy confirm and decline function code from confirm model. Copy this code and paste in a add update article model. Now we will import subject and BS model ref service. In a model footer div, we have a close button. On this click event button, we will add decline function. In a decline function, we will close the model and return false in a subject. Delete BS model ref.hide function. Paste decline function. Delete this property binding. Button title close. Model header title will be dynamic because we will use this model for two purposes, add and update article. When we add article, title will be add, and when we update article, title will be update. Title error has gone and there is a typo on a close button event. NGX Bootstrap model has a close button header and we will use this decline function in a close button event. Delete BS model ref.hide and add here decline function. In a model body, I will add a form. We will take two information from user, one article title and second article body. In a form, I will add a one row, div with row class. I will add label, label title, and here I will add a column, column size 10. In this column, I will add text box, input type text, ID title, and name title, and class form control. This is a bootstrap class. Now we will add second row div, and first we will add label. and label title body. After label, we will add column and column size 10. We will use CK editor. Before integration of CK editor, we will add few more things. In a footer, we will add one more button. We will use this button for add and update. On a click event, we will use confirm function. Confirm button title will be dynamic. Here we will use property binding. I will create a property. Confirm button title. I will initialize with add string. Here we will use property binding. I will change the order of these buttons. From article management page, we will show this model. From delete function, copy this code and paste in a add function. Here, delete this code from if condition. Remove these properties from initial state. Delete confirm model component. Here we will use add update article component. Format this code. It's showing two errors, one in a import statement and second in a subscribe function. Scroll up and you can see add update article component path is not correct. We will import again from model folder. So we have fixed these two errors. Now we will test. Save the changes. Browser showing one error. We imported wrong NGX model service. Remove this import statement. Again import from NGX bootstrap / model. Save the changes and we will test again. Refresh the page and you can see add update article model is working fine. This model will close from close button, add button and this close button. I will again open this model. Even if user click outside of this model will close. This thing is fine in a conform model, but this thing will create a issue in add update article model. Suppose you are writing an article and accidentally you click outside of the model, this model will close and you will lose your article. Now we will disable this type of close. On NGX Bootstrap model page, search backdrop option. These are the backdrop option. Click on open model. If you click outside of the model, this model will close. Now click on disable backdrop, click and open model. Now if you click outside of the model, this model will not close. In config object, you can see two properties, backdrop and ignore backdrop click. Now we will disable backdrop click in article management page. In a model option, we can pass these two properties, ignore backdrop click and we will set true. And second property, backdrop true. Save the changes and we will test. Open model. If you click outside of the model, this model will not close. Now we will increase the size of this model. On this page, search optional size. This one, large model and small model. Copy this class name, model LG. This class will change the size of the model. In model option, add comma here. Property name class. In double quote, paste the class name. Save the changes. Open model. And you can see now we have a large model. Now we will integrate CK Editor 5 for article. If you want to learn how I integrated CK Editor 5 in Angular, you can watch this video, go to description and search source code link. Click on go to site. Download this code. Click on a code and download the zip. After download, open zip file. Open src folder and app folder. We will copy this folder CK custom build. We will use CK Editor 5 custom build. Right click on a shared module, click on a reveal in a file explorer, open shared module. In this folder, we will extract CK editor files. Extract this folder, CK custom build, and next extract this folder, my CK editor. We have to install one package for CK editor. Extract package.json file and open this file. Open with Notepad and copy this package name and delete package.json file. Go to package.json file and paste in dependency. Remove comma. Save the changes and open terminal. Control C to stop this application and run npm install. npm install will install that package. npm install will verify the packages. If any package is missing, and it will install that package. Like in this case, npm install will this package. I will move CK editor folder in a one folder. And here I will create a folder CK editor module. I will move these two folders in this folder. Select and drag. VS Code will show a pop-up. Press enter or click on move. Start this application by npm run start command. No error in this component. We have error in this HTML file. This is because we didn't declare this component in the app module and we didn't import the CK editor module. Now we will import CK editor module in app module. Open this zip file in app folder and extract app module. Extract this module anywhere. After copying one line, I will delete this file. Open with Notepad. Copy this line. Go to app module. Paste in an import array and import this module. Now delete the extracted module and go to CK editor component. Still we have error because we have to add this component and declare array. Go to app module and in declare array, add this component and import this component. Go to CK editor component, and if you see error in a property binding, there is a two solution: restart VS Code or run again npm install command. I will run npm install command. Open terminal. Press Ctrl C to stop the running command and run npm install. You can see the error has fixed. Start this application again by npm run start command. I will close the terminal. Go to TS file of this component. I will change the selector name and I will remove my from selector and copy this selector and go to add update article component and paste here like this. Save the changes. Go to browser, click on add new article, and you can see now we have editor. I will increase the column size. I will increase the column size from 10 to 12. I will add margin to editor row empty-3 margin top 3. Save the changes and go to browser. Click on add new article and you can see it's looking better now. Now we will add reactive form to this form. Go to register component. Copy reactive form example. In this code, we are initializing reactive form with controls. Copy this code. and go to add update article page. It's a good practice to initialize form in ngUnit method. So first we will refactor this code. Remove form initialization from here. And again copy this code. Go to add update article component and paste in ngUnit method. We have to create variable for form, and variable name will be add update article form. Here I will declare. Now we have to inject form builder service. In this form we will have two controls, title and body. I will remove these controls. Import validation service. We'll create a copy of this title control. Control name body. On these two controls we have one validation which is required. Go to register form HTML file. Copy this code, form group, and paste here. Here we have to assign add update article form. This form name. Copy this name and paste here. Go to register component and copy this code. ng submit event and paste here. We have to change the button type. Button type submit. If button type is not submit, then this button won't be able to trigger this ng submit event. On ng submit event, confirm function will run. Remove click event from this button. Go to register component and copy this code. Form control name. With this property, we will register HTML controls in a reactive form. Paste here and form control name, title, and second control name, body. I will rename this property. It should be header title. Copy the property name, paste here. Now I will create two properties, public article title, type string. I will create a copy of this property, article body. I will bind these properties with controls using ng model. This is a label for title control. I will remove property binding. Here I will use hard-coded string. I will use ng model. This is not good practice to use ng model in a reactive form, but we will refactor later. Ng model, and I will assign article body. In a confirm function, I will add console.log and I will log article title and article body. Whenever user click on add button, this log will be visible in a console tab. Save the changes, open Chrome, click on add new article, open developer tool and open console tab. Remove log, add title and add body. Apply formatting. Click on add button. Add button event is not working. Go to VS Code. In HTML file, these buttons are not in a form element. Might be ng submit is not working due to this reason. I will remove ng submit event from form and add click event on a confirm button. Save the changes. Open Chrome. Click on add new article, add title, add body, apply formatting. Click on add button and you can see this is title and body from model. Editor output has HTML. Now we will test with image, title, and body, and apply formatting. Add image. CK editor will add this image and article in a base64 format. Click on open and remove the log and click on add button, and you can see this is output of CK editor. This CK editor 5's base64 approach has some drawback. When we add more image, output size will increase. We will store this output in a database size will increase. When we show article to user, it will take more time to load. So we will not use this approach. We will use Seek Editor 5 simple upload adapter to upload image. This adapter will upload image on a server and add image URL in article, and it will not increase our database size when we save. When we display this article to user, it will take less time to load. We will use simple upload adapter in a Seek editor. To implement this approach, we have to create one endpoint in API project. In this video, we created endpoint in MVC 5. Now we will convert this code in a .NET Core. Stop this application. In article controller, I will add one API endpoint. I will paste a one endpoint which is taken from that video. This code is written in a MVC 5 and I will convert into .NET Core. For more detail, watch that video. Remove this route. We have to give route in a HTTP post. Route name image upload. Now we will fix this error. In ASP.NET Core, HTTP context don't have a current object. HTTP context.request.form. In our form, we will have files. We will send one file at a time, and we know that file will be on a zero index of files array. Click on file and press F12. This is a type of files. Press F12, and you can see here each object is a type of iForm file. Copy this type and paste here and import this type. Remove current from this line. Request.form. Files.count tell us how many files in a request. If we get exception in this line, then we will return exception in our response. Import directory. Directory.exist take path and return boolean. If path don't exist on a server, we will return message folder does not exist. In .NET Core, save as don't exist. Remove this line. Using var object name stream system.io.file.create. In create, we will give file path with file name and extension. In using body, await because we will use async method. File.copyAsync. In a copyAsync method, we will pass stream. This is async method, that's why we added await keyword. This will be a image URL and we will return this image URL in a response. And our application is running on localhost 5001. We will return this response. This response has URL property. In a URL property, we will pass image URL. These images will be served as a static content. In our .NET Core, we have to enable static content. Click on Reveal in a File Explorer. We will create a folder in a root directory of a project. Folder name W root. In this folder, we will create one more folder for images. Only these folder data can be accessed through URL. Folder name article images. Copy this name. An image URL will be localhost 5001 slash article image slash image name with extension. First, we will configure base URL. In .NET Core, base directory will not return project root path. To get environment root path, we have to inject iWebHost environment service. We will inject service in a constructor. Private read only. iWebHost environment and object name dash app environment. Import this Copy this, paste in a constructor as a parameter. Here initialize this. Here we will use delete this. Here we have to combine two paths, so we will use path.combine. In a combine, we will give two paths dash app environment dot content root path and second parameter folder path. When we save file on a server, we have to append www root folder name in a path. When we access this image, we don't need to give www root folder name in a path. From image URL, I will remove this folder path. We don't need folder path here. When we access image, we don't need to include www root folder name. Image URL will be base URL slash article images slash images with extension. I will move this folder name in a folder path variable here and delete this double quote. Start the API project. In Angular application, in a CK editor build, we will enable simple upload adapter and disable base64 plugin. Open this file ckeditor.js, search base64 upload adapter and comment it. Now we have to build again CK editor. Open this folder in a terminal ck custom build and run this command npm install npm-i. You have to run this command in ck custom build folder. To build CK editor, you need a packages. That's why we have to run this command. Now we will build the CK editor. npm run build. This command will build the CK editor 5. Now we can use CK editor 5 with this change. I started the Angular project and close this terminal. In CK editor component, in a configuration object, I will enable this simple upload configuration. If image upload URL is not public, you can send token with this request. Port is 5001. Controller name is article and we will use HTTPS. Now we will test. Click on add new article. Select image and it will stop on breakpoint. Press F10. Here you will see your project path. When you deploy this project on server, it will give your server path. Path.combine didn't combine the path. Let's see what happened. Press F10. And here we will get error because this path don't exist. Stop this application. Remove this slash. Start this application again. When CK editor don't find URL property in a response, it shows this error. Select image again and go to API project. Press F10. Path.combine combine the two paths. Now you can see absolute path. Press F10. Directory exists and we can see the name. Copy to async will save the file on a server and now it will return this URL in a response. Click on continue breakpoint. This time it didn't show the error, but we cannot see the image. Might be this is due to HTTP and we will convert it into HTTPS. Restart the application and I will remove this breakpoint. In article image folder, you can see one image. Remove this tag and select image again. Same error. Go to network tab and click on last one and go to response tab. In our response, you can see we have a URL property In a URL property, we have a URL, and I will open this URL in a new tab. You can see we cannot access this image. In the image folder, you can see we have a two image. In our .NET Core, we have to enable static content in a startup file. In a startup file, in a configure method, we will use static file middleware app.use static files. After this configuration, we can access static data from www root folder. Start the application. We will test again. Select image. You can see this time we didn't get any error. Add title and add text in a body and apply formatting. Clear the console. Click on add. This is the output of editor. Now we will compare this output with base64 plugin output. Base64 output will take more space on database and will take more time to load, whereas simple upload plugin will take less space on database and will take less time to load because images will be load asynchronous. Now we will apply authorization on image upload API endpoint. Copy this authorized attribute and paste here and restart the application. Now we will try to upload image. Select image. Image disappeared. Network tab, click on an image upload request and open response tab, and you can see unauthorized error. This is because this request didn't have token. Now we will send token with this request. In CK editor config object, in a simple upload object, add new object named headers. In a headers, we will pass token. Go to article service and copy this line and paste in a header object. In article service, copy this line get token from local storage and paste here. Import constant class. Now on CK editor will send token with request. Now we will test. Select image and you can see image has uploaded successfully. Click on a request and you can see URL in a response. In article service, we will create one method, add update article. This method will send API request to server. I will create a copy of this function, delete article. Rename this method, add update article. This function will take following parameters: article ID, title, body, and publish status. We will pass this parameter in a request body. So first we have to initialize body object. In API project, in add update binding model, we have to send this information in a request body. In a body object, I will add properties with this name. I will copy this property name and paste in a body object. Now I will initialize these properties with parameters. I will add two more parameters, publish and app user ID. User ID. Add comma here. This function is completed. Now we will call this function from model component. In a model component, first we have to inject article service. In a confirm function, we will call service method. This dot article service dot add update article. In this function, we will pass article title and second argument is article body. We have to pass article ID. I will create one more property, article ID, and its type is number, and I will initialize with 0. When we add article, article ID will be 0. When we update article, then we will have article ID. I will pass article ID in a add update article function. Publish status false, and we need a user ID, and we know we can get user ID from local storage. Copy this code. This function return user information from local storage. Paste here and import constant. This dot user ID dot subscribe. When we get response from server, subscribe method will run. I will hide the model when we get response from server. So I will move these two lines in subscribe function. If we get success from server, then I will hide this model. Here I will add if condition. In if condition, I will compare response code. When we get response code, okay, it's mean data has saved in a database successfully. So I will move these two lines in a if condition, and I will add here error case. When we get error, then we will show our toaster. Now in this model component, I will add spinner and toaster. Before send request to server, we will show spinner. Copy this line. This .block UI .start. It will start spinner and paste here before send request to server. This line stop the spinner. Paste here when we get response and paste in error case. Now copy toaster message. This toaster success. It will show success message. We will show the success message when we get success response. Now copy toaster service and we will inject in a model component, paste in a constructor. You can watch my videos on toaster and block UI for more detail, link in a description. Copy these block UI lines, paste in a model component. Import the modules. You can change loader message. Saving, please wait. I will update the toaster message. Article saved successfully. In error case, we will show toaster message. Something went wrong. And toaster type will be error. Toaster.error. When response code is not okay, I will add else part. And here I will show toaster error message. Now we will test. We try to save one article. Give title. Apply formatting. Add image. Click on add button. And you can see toaster with success message. But that article did not visible on the article page. Now we will fix this issue. Go to article management page. Scroll down. Here we subscribing model response subject. When we get true value from subject, we will send API request that will get article list from server. Scroll down and copy this line. We will call this function from here, and this function will send API request to server and fetch latest article from server. Now we will test. Click on add new article. Give title and body. In article body, I will use log and paste in article and will apply formatting. Click on add button. Something went wrong. We didn't add title. Click on add button and you can see success message, and we can see article on our article page. Now we will apply validation. Whenever form is invalid, we will disable the add button. So we will use disable attribute, copy form name, form.invalid. So whenever form is invalid, this button will disable, and you can see add button is disabled. On these two controls, we have required validation. So when we add data in these two fields, form will get valid and add button will enable. We can show the error. For example, when user don't enter title, we will show message title is required. Here I will create a function that will take control name and will return control from form group. Control name return this dot add update form dot. IntelliSense is not working. This is because we didn't define type. Now we will give type to add update form and type is form group. Now we will get IntelliSense. Press dot controls and we will pass parameter. It will return controls from form group. Here we will use that method. After the input control, I will add div. On this div, I will add ngIf. Here I will call that method get control and I will pass control name. Control name is title. Dot invalid. When Angular form created first time on a screen and its control default status is invalid, so we will not show error message when we show form first time to user. When user interact with this control, we will show the error. That's why we will check two more condition. First one is dirty. Dirty get true when user enter anything and delete that thing. So control become dirty. And second condition, we will check user touched. When user touch the control, touch property get true. In this div, I will add one more div that will have class text danger. On this div, I will add ngIf. On this div, I will check the error type. I will call that function get controls dot error dot required. If error type is required, then I will show the message title is required. And you can show multiple error message like max length, min length. Now we will test. Click on add new article. Touch the title control and you will see title is required error. When you type anything in this control, this error will fix. You can add multiple controls validation on a control and you can show their messages. Now I will remove HTML tags from article body. For this I will create pipe, Angular pipe. In a shared module folder, I will create a folder for pipe, folder name pipes. Open this folder in a terminal. ng pipe and pipe name strip HTML. This pipe will remove all HTML tags from string. Remove this test file, spec file. So here I will write a logic that will remove HTML tag from string, replace unknown with string because this pipe will get string. This pipe will not take multiple arguments. So remove this array and it will return string. Here value dot replace. In a replace function, I will give regular expression that will search HTML tag and replace with empty string. Copy this pipe name. Here after body, add pipe sign and give pipe name. Save the changes and we will test. And you can see this pipe has removed all the HTML element, but we can see few like non-breaking space. So we will modify the pipe and we'll add few more checks in a pipe. First, I will add undefined check. If we don't add this check, replace method will be called on undefined. Then we will get undefined error message. Move this line in if condition. Add return statement at the end of the function and remove return from here. I will remove HTML character from value property and assign back to value property. I will create a copy of this line, and in this line I will replace HTML encoded character ampersand and I will remove other HTML encoded character greater than sign and less than sign, and I will remove non-breaking space. Now we will test, and you can see we don't have any HTML special character like we had non-breaking space. Next thing, we will reduce the body size. Body will have multiple paragraphs. I will show a few lines of article body in a table row. It's not a good practice to show paragraph in a table, so we will reduce the size of body. For this purpose, we will use Angular built-in pipe named slice. We will use this pipe, and we can use multiple pipe. Add pipe sign and slice colon start position and end position. So it will slice from position 0 to 100. Now it's showing 100 characters of a long article. Here we are missing one thing. When we show this type of thing, we use ellipses or we will use load more button. When user see ellipses, he will understand this is not just two lines, it's a big paragraph. These three dots known as a ellipses. If we add like this, then it will be visible on a long and short article body. Like this, value 1 has only few character and we don't want to show ellipses on this. Now we will create a pipe that will show ellipses on a long paragraph and will not show ellipses on a short paragraph. Pipe name is truncate. Close terminal and delete this spec file, test file. Value type is string because we will use this pipe on a string and it will return string. Return value. First I will check value is not null. I will set argument type any so we can send string and number. First I will get limit. Limit will present on argument array 0 index. Here I will add condition if argument length is greater than 0. Then I will pass 0 index into int and I will use parse int function. I will pass argument 0 index and second argument radix 10 or else I will give default limit 20. Second thing I will get from argument array which is trail. Trail will present on index 1. First I will check the length. Length is greater than 1. It's mean value is present on index 1. I will return index 1 value, else I will return ellipses 3 dots. Here I will check string length. If string length is greater than limit, then I will slice the string value dot substring from 0 position to limit. I will concatenate trail with this string, else I will return value. Because value is not greater than limit, I will remove spread operator because we are using array. Now I will use in a component and I will remove this slice pipe, pipe name truncate, colon, array. In array, I will add two values, one limit, second trail, and I will use three dots, ellipses, and you can use any character. I will remove these three dots. We don't need this anymore. When character length is greater than 100, it will show ellipses. Otherwise, it will not show ellipses. You can change trail and limit. Now I will change the trail. Go to Chrome and you can see now we are using triple equal sign instead of ellipses, but we will use ellipses. Now we will change the format of dates and we will fix modify date issue. ASP.NET Core project return date time in a UTC format. First, we will convert this datetime format into JavaScript datetime format. We will use JavaScript date class, new date, and we will pass this string x.createDate. We will use on modify date. Now these two dates in a JavaScript date format. Save the changes and you can see new format. And now we will apply Angular built-in pipe date and we will pass date format. Go to article management page. On created date, pipe sign, date. This is pipe name and after colon we can pass date format. I will pass this date format, M for month, D for day and Y for year. And this thing is available on Angular documentation. You can apply a different date format and you can see this is a new date format. Now we will apply this date format on modify date. Copy this date pipe and paste here. Add a pipe sign. Save the change. You can see modify date. It's showing 111 because user didn't update the article. So when you update the article, we will show the modified date. Otherwise, we will not show the modified date. On a modified date, we will add condition and we will compare year. Get full year will return the year from date. If year is greater than 2000, then we will show the modified date. If year is not greater than 2000, then we will not show the date and we will show this 3 dash. Add parenthesis here because we are using pipe with modified date. Save the changes and we will test. On modified date, you can see 3 dashes. Now we will implement edit or update functionality. When user click on edit button, we will pass article object, not article ID, because we need multiple article information. I will update the name temp article and its type is article. Remove this console.log. Now I will copy the code from on add function. Copy this code, paste in on edit function. In initial state object, we will pass article information. Go to add update article component and we will pass article information, article title and body and model header title, button text. Arrange these properties, copy these properties, paste in initial state, remove this access modifier and property type. Header title will be update article, confirm title, update. We will pass article ID, temp article.id, temp article.title and temp article.body. So we will initialize this model with this information, save the changes and we will test. Click on edit button and you can see model header title is update article. I will update the article. Click on update button. You can see toaster message, article saved successfully. We will update this toaster message later. Modify date is not working. Go to network tab and click on a get article list request. Click on a preview and expand dataset. Modify date is not correct. Modify date is not defined. We will verify modify date from API project. Go to article service. In article service, search get all article function. In this function, modify date is missing. I will create a copy of this line. Article.modified. Modify date. Save the changes. I will add one more thing. When we add new article, I will reset the modify date. Modify date will be less than 2000. I will pass random value and this value will be added as a millisecond to 180. Restart the application and we will test. Click on add new article, add title, add body and click on add button. Article added and you can see modify date 3 dashes. Now we will edit the article. Click on Edit button. Update the title and click on Update button. And you can see now we have modified date. Now we will update the toaster message. We will show different toaster message on add update article. Go to confirm function. In a response code condition, here I will add condition. If article ID is greater than 0, we will show update message. Else we will show add article message. I will create a copy of this toaster message. Article updated successfully. Save the changes. Now we will update the article and let's see what will happen. Click on update button. You can see article updated successfully. Now I will copy article from Angular website. Search Angular 13. Click on first one. Copy this article. Click on add new and paste here. You can see this editor accept the image from copy paste. Remove extra spaces. Click on add button. Now we will update this article. Click on update and you can see modify date and toaster message. Now we will implement user can change the status of article. User can publish and unpublish the article. I will change the name of table heading status to publish. For publish we will use switch control. In this project we are using Bootstrap. In a new tab, search Bootstrap and click on first link. Click on get started and search switch and it will show the switch example. Here you can see, copy this code and paste here in the place of status. Copy this property article.status and bind this property with checkbox checked property like this and remove this label. We don't need this label. Add an event to checkbox. I will add change event, assign a function name and pass article object. Copy this function name. In a TS file, we will create this function. In this function, we will change the status value. We will toggle the status value. Article.status. I will add type. Article.status and I will use not operator. So this will toggle the article status. So when article status is published and user click on switch button, it will unpublish the article. And I will use console.log to check is it working. Save the changes. And you can see we have a switch buttons. Open console tab and we know publish status is false when I click and it will set true, and you can see when I click again and it will set to false. Before change the status we will show pop-up like confirmation. We added this type of confirmation pop-up in our delete operation. So I will copy confirmation pop-up code from delete function. When user click on a switch button, we will show pop-up and we will ask, do you want to publish this article or do you want to unpublish this article? I will add condition on a confirmation message. When article.status is true, we will show, do you want to publish? Else we will show, do you want to unpublish? If anything new to you, please watch my previous videos. In a previous video, I implemented this model pop-up. When we receive true value from popup, we will send API call to server. We will call method update article and we will pass article ID, article.title and article.body, and this time we will pass status. And last thing, we need user ID. In a subscribe function, we show the toaster message and we will show different message. So when user publish, we will show article published message. So I will add a condition article.status. So when article.status is true, I will show article published, else I will show article unpublished. This if else called ternary condition, or second name is inline if else. And here we don't need this call. So I will remove this, save the changes and we will test. Click on switch button and pop up visible. Click on no, status didn't change. We didn't handle this case. So when user click on no button, we will revert the status. Now I will add else part of this if condition. In else part, again I will toggle the status, article.status, not operator, article.status. It will revert the status again. Save the changes and we will test. Click on the switch button and click on no. It reverted the status and it's working fine. Now click on yes and you can see article published. If I click on refresh, you can see it's working. I can publish and unpublish the article. Mostly web application has two layout or two view, one admin portal, second client or public view. We have created admin portal and now we will create client or public layout. These two view can have different look and feel, different layout. On admin portal, user can add update article. On client layout, user can read the article. For different layout, we will use Angular child route. From app component, we will remove navbar or horizontal menus. App component will have only one tag, router outlet. I will create two Angular component and they will be known as admin layout component and public layout component. They will have a navigation bar and router outlet tag. So now on admin component will render in a admin layout component and public component will render in a public layout component. Previously they rendered in a app component. We will implement this layout in Angular. So let's begin. We will create new folder, right click on a app folder, folder name layout. Open this folder in a terminal. Write command ngc component name admin layout. Press enter. We will add second layout public layout. Close terminal. Layout component must have router outlet tag, navigation bar, or we can say anything that is common between component we can add here. We were using app component as a layout that has navbar and router outlet. Copy nav and router outlet. Paste in admin layout. From app component.ts file, we will copy properties and functions that are required for layout page. Paste in admin layout.ts file. Add missing imports. Click on bulb and click on add all missing imports. We are using onIt interface, so we have to implement ng-onIt function. Remove this nav from app component. Don't remove block UI div because we can use this block UI from any component. So this can be used to block whole screen. Remove block UI from admin layout component. Remove block UID from HTML file. Now we will configure out. Right now we have one routing class, app routing module class. In a route array, I will add new object of route, curly braces in a path property. We will give route path. This route will have children property. Its type is array. We can add list of component in a children array. So these children will render in a component in a place of router outlet. I will move these components in a children array because these are admin component. I will add path, portal. Now I will add route for public layout. Curly braces and path property and children property. So this route object need component and layout component name, public layout component. I will add component in admin route object, component and admin layout component. I will move these to route, register and login in a public layout route children. I will copy router outlet tag and paste in a public layout. Layout component must have router outlet tag, otherwise children component will not visible. Now we will test. Let's see, is it working? So for admin route, we have to add portal in a route before existing route. Localhost 4200 slash portal slash article management. This is not working. Open DevTool, press right click and click on inspect element. Go to console tab. We got exception in ngOnIt method. Go to admin layout page. You can see in ngOnIt function we throw exception. Remove this line. Save these changes. We will test again. And route working fine. We can see the list of article. Children component render on a router outlet and name bar is above the router outlet. Click on logout link and we can see login page. So now we are on a public layout component. On public layout page, I added router outlet and I have not added navbar yet. So that's why we cannot see the navbar that has links. We can access the register page by typing register in address bar. We can see the register page without navbar. So layout page is working fine. So now I will copy navbar from admin layout page and paste in a public layout page and copy code from TS file. Add all missing imports. Save the changes and refresh page. You can see the navbar on login page. Click on a login button, but it did not work because I have not updated route in a login page yet. Go to login page. In a subscribe function, you can see this.router.navigate. Here we have all route path. I will add portal word in a route. Save the changes and we will test again. Click on login button and you can see user list. Click on article link. It will not work. Open DevTool. Go to console tab. You can see route segment error. We will change this redirection. So when user login, we will show the article page. From app routing module class, I will copy article management route path. Paste in place of user management route. We will show same page to admin and user. So I will remove this if else condition. I will update link URL, add portal route path in our router link, save these changes and we will test. Click on article, but it did not work. Inspect this link in our router link attribute portal slash article management page. I forgot to add slash before portal. Go to console tab. It's showing URL segment error. Add slash before portal. Refresh page. Click on article link. It's showing article page. Inspect this element. Now we have slash portal slash article dash management page. Everything working fine. Now we will add component that will show the published articles to user. We will add folder for public components. Folder name public dash feature dash module. In this folder, we will add public components. Open this folder in a terminal. Write command ng gc component name all dash article dash list dash public for public components. We will add route for this component so we can access this component. We will add route in a children array of public layout route. Path will be empty. Whenever user visit our app, this page will open. Component or article list public. Save the changes, we will test. Remove route from address bar, except localhost 4200. You can see we can access all article list page. On admin portal, I will add a link for public layout so we can access public view from admin portal. Create a copy of this nav link. Change the link text, public view. And remove click event. Router link will be simple slash. Remove this ng if. Copy this router link and we will update link on a public layout page. And paste here. Save the changes. On admin portal, we have a public view link. We can go to public view from admin portal. Click on logout link. Remove login from URL. On this page, we will show all published articles. User can access this page without login. So that's why I log out from app. Right now on this page, we will show title of all published article. So I will copy this HTML, paste here, remove this table. We will fetch articles from server. We have a function in app that fetch articles from server. So I copy that function from article management component. Copy this code, get all article to block UI property. Paste here and add missing imports. For this API call, we need a user information, user ID. Copy this property that return user information from local storage. Paste here. Import user and constant class. To show article title, we use ng4. So I will copy ng4 from article management page, copy this line, paste here, and replace tr with div, and replace td with div. We will use div, so we can use bootstrap classes. Save the changes, and we will test. Page refresh, but no article. Fresh again, still no article. Open DevTool. Now console, you can see user ID is undefined because user is not logged in. If I log in and then try again, go to public view, and you can see now we have article list. Click on logout, and I will try again. I will use safe navigation operator, question mark. We will not get exception when user object is undefined. Open DevTool, go to console, and no exception. Go to network tab, click on a request, and you can see data set is empty because we didn't pass user ID. Now we will modify this API endpoint. Go to article controller, press Ctrl P, article controller, press enter. Search get article list method, create copy of this method. We will create two methods, one for admin and one for public. Method name get article list for admin. We will change endpoint name, copy method name, and paste in HTTP get attribute. Copy authorize attribute. Only admin and user can access this method. Those who has token. Stop the application. In public method endpoint, we will handle request with author ID or without author ID. So I will add else part of this if condition. Remove this line because we will not send parameter missing response. We will send articles with or without author ID. I will change the if condition author ID length greater than 3. Then we will return articles by author ID. Copy these two lines that get data from service and return the data. Paste in an if and else. Now I will declare list and its type will be article DTO. I will import list and DTO class namespace. Assign the service result to this list. We get list from service. Paste in a place of result. No error. Format the code. Remove this line. We don't need this line. This return statement is common in if and else part. We can use this after the if else because this is a return statement we are using at the end of the method. So we get article list from if and else and return the list. Now we will modify service method. So first we have to modify the interface of service. We will use expression func type article bool parameter name query. Copy this parameter, go to article service, paste here, import expression, remove this where condition, context.article.where in where pass the query parameter. We will pass where in form of lambda expression from controller. Save the changes, go to article controller. Here we pass a lambda expression x arrow x dot app user ID equal to author ID. It will return articles that satisfy this condition. In else part, we will not have user ID. It's mean user is not logged in. So we will return published article. Here we will return articles by author ID x dot app user ID equal author ID. Save the changes and start the application. In API project, we created and modify one endpoint, so we will update these changes in Angular application. Go to article service, create a copy of getArticlesByAuthorID method. Select this method, press Ctrl C and paste here. Rename this method getPublishedArticles. From API project, I will copy the endpoint name getArticleList for admin, paste here. In article management page, we call the getArticleList for admin. Go to getArticleList public component. From this public component, we will update the method call. Here we will use getPublishedArticle. Save the changes. I will add breakpoint in a API project so we can see the information. Refresh the page. An app stopped on breakpoint. You can see author ID. We have undefined string. Press F10 and its length is greater than 3. I will add a check in Angular project whenever we don't have user ID. Then we will not send undefined in a request. Copy this property. This property check user is login. Paste here. Here I will define a variable. Let variable name user ID. This dot is user login. If it's true, then get ID from this dot user ID, else colon 0 anything whose length is less than 3. Pass this user ID in a method as argument. Refresh the page. You can see the list of articles with title and body. I will comment the article body so we can test easily. Open one more tab. Click on a login link. Login in app. We cannot see the articles on this page. We are using new API endpoint on this page. Go to public view tab. Refresh the page. You can see now we have more articles. This time we sent user ID. Go to admin page. Refresh again. No article. Open DevTool. On a console tab. No error. Go to network tab. Refresh again to see network request. Click on request. Click on preview. We got unauthorized message. Relogin. Same error. Refresh. Same error. Go to header tab. Scroll down. We send token in a header. I cannot see the token. So we are not sending the token in this request. Go to article service. You can see we are not sending the token in a header. Copy this authorization line and paste in a header. Save the changes. Now we can see the articles. We can change the status of article. Right now we have one published article. Public view tab. Refresh. Add breakpoint. Refresh. Click on a continue breakpoint. This endpoint will be used on a public page, so we will not show unpublished article on this page. Here we will add one more condition. And operator x.publish. Refresh and remove the breakpoint. And you can see one article, it's working fine. We will publish one more article. Now we have two published articles. Refresh, you can see two articles. Now we will improve the UI little bit of a public page and we will add link of read more. Go to all article public page. I will use car to display article list. Copy ng4. Paste in a car div. Remove this extra div. To display article title, we will use h5 tag. Add class car-title. Article.title. Uncomment this article body div. We will use p tag for article body. Add class car-text. Save the changes. Go to admin view and unpublish this article. Edit this article, remove this title and spaces. When I edit the article, its published status get changed, publish to unpublish. We will fix this issue later. Publish this article, go to public view tab, refresh the page. We have one article. I will publish one more article. Public view tab, refresh. Remove this line. This is extra line. I will add anchor tag, href. Now I will use hash and we will add link later. Car-link and add text, read more. Save the changes. You can see we have read more link. Now I will display date. I will use h6 tag, class, car-subtitle and text-muted. Go to article management page. Copy this line. Here we are using date with pipe. Paste here. Save the changes. Refresh. We can see the date. We will change the date position. First title, then date. Like this. Now I will add margin. MB-2 margin bottom. When we update the article, it's got unpublished. We will fix this issue now. This article is published now. Click on edit. After the update, it will unpublish. You can see this. Go to add update article component. You can see when we update the article, we pass false value to function. This is article published status value. I will create a new variable that will hold the status value. Create a copy of this line. Type is Boolean. Default value false. Variable name article status. Remove the constant value. Use this dot article status. Copy variable name. Go to article management component. Search on edit function. In initial state object, we will pass status of article, comma, paste here, temp article dot status. Use colon instead of equal sign. Save the changes. We will test. Change the status. Article is published now. Click on edit. Click on update. Status did not change, so it's working fine. In this video, we will show publish articles to user. We will add component for it. Open public feature module folder in a terminal. Write command ng gc article dash detail. Go to app routing module file. We will add route for this component. Create a copy of this line. Path will be article. Component article detail. Go to public page of article. All article is public component. Remove the href attribute. We will use router link slash article and we will pass query parameter in a URL. Query param attribute we will pass object curly braces. In this object we pass article id article.id. You can use article title too. Click on read more link. You can see article id in address bar. Go to article detail component. In this page, we will get article ID from URL. So we will inject activity route service in this component. In constructor, private service name, activity route, and its type activity route. We will retrieve article ID in ngOnIt method. First, we will create article ID property. Its type is number, initialize with 0. In ngOnIt method, this dot activity route dot query param dot subscribe arrow function param this dot article ID param pass ID and it will return ID value. Go to HTML component and here we will show ID, article ID, save the changes. You can see ID on the page. Click on read more. You can see article ID in URL and on page. In article detail, create a function that will call service function get article by ID. It will take ID. We will call this function from ngOnIt. Here I will add condition ID should be greater than 0. In if body, call the function with article ID. This dot get article by ID. Pass the article ID. In this component, we will use article service. Inject that service. Private article service. Type article service. Here we will use article service. This dot article service. We don't have a function that get article by ID. So we will create that function in article service. Go to article service. Create a copy of get publish article function. We can use this function. It will fetch all the articles, but we need one. So this will be expensive call or become in a future when article increase. Change the parameter name author ID to article ID. Type is number. Change the function name get article by ID. Copy article ID and paste here. Because we have to pass in a request. Change the endpoint get article by ID. Remove the author ID. It should be ID. Copy this line. In response, we will have one article object, not array. Paste that line here. Remove this array declaration. We will have article object, article, article, and rename this. Copy this. Create a variable name x and assign this race dot dataset and return the article object. Format this function. Now we will create get article by ID endpoint in an API project. Create a copy of this function. Select copy and paste. Copy this name, paste in HTTP get attribute and change the function name. Rename the author ID to ID. Press Ctrl R 2 times. This command will rename the property and update its references. We will change the condition when ID is less than 0. We will return error response. Copy this line, paste here. Response message ID is missing. In a else part, we will update the condition x.id equal ID. We are comparing the string with int. Update the ID type. We can use long. From here, remove this length. So this method will return article object, not our list. Remove the list. Get article list, return the list of article. This is a async method. Use parentheses on a parenthesis. Call dot first or default. Import link namespace. Rename this article. Restart application. Go to article detail page. Call the service function dot get article by ID. Pass ID dot subscribe. In a subscribe, we will have article object. We will call it data. We show the spinner and toaster. Go to article management page. We will copy block UI. Copy these lines. Paste here. Import the namespace. Copy toaster service, paste in a constructor, import toaster service. In subscribe, we can handle error. First function is success callback and second is error callback. In error callback, we show error and we will use toaster. This dot toaster dot error. We pass the message something went wrong. Please try again later. Before send request, we will start the block UI. This dot block UI dot start, and when we receive response in our subscribe, stop the block UI. This dot block UI dot stop. In error case, we have to stop the block UI, otherwise spinner never stop. In error case, create object of article, public article type article, import the article class and initialize it. In a subscribe, this dot article assign the data object. In HTML component, we will show the article info, article dot title. Save the changes, click on read more. You can see article title. Go to article list, public page, copy this HTML, paste in article detail page, remove ng4, remove the truncate pipe, save the changes, go to browser. You can see article with body. I will set max width of article 750 pixel. Remove this read more link. Save the changes. You can see the article in a plain text. We will show this article in a rich format. We use headings, bullets and images when we created this article. To render the article, we will use CK editor because we use CK editor to create article. To preserve the formatting, we will use CK editor on a public page. On public page, we will use read-only mode. Go to add update article component. Copy this CK editor tag. Paste in article detail page. We will bind the article.body with ng model. Remove this form control attribute. Save the changes. Go to Chrome. You can see CK editor rendered the article, but it's showing the toolbar. User can use this toolbar control. First, we will try read-only mode. Read-only mode will disable all the controls. Read-only, pass through. You can see now I cannot select the image. First, I will remove the border. We can see the two border. I will remove one. So card has border. Remove this card class. You can see we have one border now. We will remove toolbar from CK editor. Go to CK editor component. Go to TS file. Copy this config object. CK editor get control list from this object. It shows that's control which we mentioned in this config object. In config, we will pass empty object, just curly braces. It will give type error. Go to my CK editor component. Change the type. Use any. Save the changes. You will see no error. In config, we did not pass any control name, so CK editor will hide the toolbar. And basically, we don't show the toolbar on a public view. You can see no toolbar. It's working fine. Two more thing, when you click on DevBugFix home link, it refresh the page. It should not refresh the page because this is a single page application. And second thing, when you click on article link from public view, it show admin page of article list, but it should show public view of article list because we are on a public page. Go to public layout page. From article link, remove this route portal/article management. Now it's pointing to base URL. And we know base URL show the public page of article list. Copy this outer link, remove this href attribute. It's refresh the page. Paste here. It will point to /portal/article dash management. Save the changes. We will test. We are on a public page. Click on article link. It's showing public page of article list. When you click on DevBugFix link, it show admin page and this link did not refresh the page, which is good. It's not a good practice to reload or refresh the page in a single page application. Now we will add one more article. Search article Angular 13 features. Click on first article. Copy this article with images. Copy, paste here. Copy article title, paste here. Unpublish this article. Publish the article. Go to public view. You can see two articles. Close this tab. Click on read more link. You can see articles with heading and images. On article detail page, we will change the date position, first date, then title. Save the changes. Thank you for watching.